There are 10 things you must do each morning, or you'll spend the rest of your life being ruled, not by a tyrant, not by fate, but by your own damn weakness. Most people lose the day before their feet touch the floor. They wake up and surrender. First action, phone in hand. Thumb scrolling like a prisoner, begging for permission to exist. That's not a routine. That's a ritual of defeat. Every morning you let your mind be hijacked. You invite chaos. You train your soul to kneel. And soon you forget who you were before comfort broke you. But there's another way. The ancient Stoics knew it. Marcus Aurelius lived it. And now it's yours to reclaim. Not soft, not poetic, but hard, cold, sharpened by time and tested in pain. 10 things. 10 commands forged in philosophy and fire. Ignore them and you'll repeat the same forgettable day until regret becomes your religion. Embrace them and you will own your mornings, your mind, and eventually your life. This isn't about feeling good. This is about becoming unbreakable, one morning at a time. You don't need another alarm. You need a reason to rise. Most people wake up because they have to, because the job demands it, because the rent's due, because someone else said so. That's not living. That's surviving. And survival mode. It's where dreams go to die slowly. Now listen, this isn't some fluffy motivational nonsense. This is a matter of life and death. Not of your body, but your soul. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being, not a robot, not a slave. A human being meant to serve something larger than appetite or approval. So ask yourself, what the hell are you waking up for? If your answer is, I don't know, then maybe you don't deserve to hit that snooze button, because every second you sleep through life, someone else is sharpening their sword while you cuddle comfort. Enter Ikigai, not a trend, not a tattoo, a fusion of 4 truths. What you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. Where these intersect, that's your reason to rise. That's your war drum. That's your rejection of being ordinary. But here's the part no one tells you. Ikigai isn't found in one morning. It's forged through self-confrontation. It's built by asking the questions most men avoid. What burns inside me? What am I wasting? What have I been too afraid to try? The Stoics taught this too. Your purpose isn't a gift. It's a burden. You carry it, you earn it, you bleed for it. Purpose isn't comfortable. It doesn't whisper. It roars and demands sacrifice. So tomorrow morning, when the bed feels like a womb, remember, you weren't born to hide from life. You were born to step into it, scarred and screaming. Get clear. Get angry. Get honest. Because if you wake up with no target, your mind becomes one. For distraction, for doubt, for decay, purpose is the sword. Without it, you're just another body moving through a schedule. But with it, you rise with fury. You act with direction. You become a storm, not a shadow. Wake up with purpose, or don't wake up at all. So where do you begin? Don't wait for perfect clarity. Don't wait for passion to strike like lightning. Start with one thing, write it down tonight. What do I do that makes time disappear? That's your starting fire. Then add this. What pain have I survived that others are still drowning in? That's your gift. The Stoics didn't sit around hoping for meaning. They created it. They hammered it out of chaos, one decision at a time. So tomorrow morning, don't just wake up. Wake up with war in your chest. Wake up to write, to lift, to build, to study, to serve. Do something that says, I am not a bystander in my own life. Don't scroll, don't stall, don't shrink. Because when you live without purpose, you rot from the inside out. And no amount of sleep will fix that. You don't need 8 hours. You need a reason. You think your mornings are weak because you're not a morning person. Wrong. Your mornings are weak because your nights are undisciplined. You don't need more energy. You need less sabotage. You want to win the day. You start the war the night before. But what do most people do after sunset? They escape. Into Netflix, into scrolling, into junk dopamine. They call it relaxing. But it's not recovery, it's sedation. Let's be clear. You're not winding down. You're winding up your own destruction. You go to bed, bloated with noise, and wonder why your mornings feel like a hangover of anxiety and fog. The Stoics didn't wait for the sun to rise to gain control. They ended the previous day with intention, because they knew momentum is moral. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Let not your mind run on what you lack, but on what you have already." That starts at night. Reflection, order, closure. So, here's what you do. Kill the screen. An hour before sleep, cut the feed. Not because you're weak, but because you're not a slave. You need to own your attention, or it will own you. Choose tomorrow. Write down the 3 non-negotiables for the next day. Not 20, not a fantasy list. 3. Clear, real, measurable. You go to sleep knowing your purpose is set, not floating locked in. Breathe. Stillness isn't optional. You're not a machine to be shut off. You're a battlefield that needs to be cleaned, cleared, and secured. 5 minutes. Eyes closed. Inhale deep. Exhale slow. Let your nervous system know. We're done for today, but we're coming for war tomorrow. Now, here's the truth. Most won't tell you. Your discipline isn't broken. It's just hijacked by dopamine addiction. You don't need more willpower. You need fewer traps. And they're all waiting for you. In your bedroom. Phone beside the pillow. TV still glowing. Mind racing from junk content. You're losing tomorrow by losing the last 90 minutes of today. Preparation is not just productivity. It's defiance. It's telling the chaos, you won't get the first hour. You won't infect my mornings. You won't dictate how I start. Because how you sleep is how you rise. And how you rise is how you attack life. No more letting the night steal your morning. No more escaping into softness and calling it peace. Tonight, you end like a warrior, so you can begin like one. You open your eyes, and the first thing you touch is a battlefield. That phone in your hand, it's not just glass and circuits. It's a loaded weapon pointed straight at your mind. The moment you check it, the war begins, and you've already lost. Notifications, emails, drama. Everyone else's problems become your first thoughts. You didn't wake up, you plugged in, into noise, into distraction, into digital slavery. Let's call this what it is. Reactive living. You're not choosing your day. You're receiving it like a prisoner handed a schedule by his warden. The Stoics warned us of this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water." You can't tame anything if you start the day drowning. And every scroll is another wave smashing your willpower into fragments. So what do? You create space. The first 30-minute shell, even 10, belong to you. Not to the world, not to the noise. To you. Let silence greet you. Let breath, not buzzing, be your first rhythm. Because here's the brutal truth. Every time you wake up and check your phone first thing, you train your nervous system to be owned, to be jumpy, to be anxious, to need external chaos to feel alive. That's not life. That's dependency. But I need it for work. Then control how you use it. Set boundaries, set rules. Don't let addiction wear a mask called productivity. Here's your new protocol. Wake up, sit still, look out a window, feel your spine, your breath. Remember, you're a man, not a machine. Then only then engage with the world, on your terms. Because the first moment of your day sets the tone for the rest. And if the first thing you do is react, don't be surprised when the rest of your day owns you. You wouldn't let a stranger walk into your bedroom and scream at you. So why let a glowing screen do it? Your phone is not evil, but it is neutral. And what you allow it to become is entirely on you. Stop treating your mornings like inbox triage. Treat them like sacred ground. Command before you consume. Center before you connect. Breathe before you broadcast. Because every time you wake up and give yourself to the world immediately, you lose a little more of who you are. Don't wake up into war. Wake up into sovereignty. The first hour of your day is not just time. It's territory. And every day, something tries to invade it. Emails, news, demands, notifications. They don't knock, they storm in. If you don't defend that hour, you don't own it. And if you don't own that first hour, you won't own the next 23. This is the hour where kings are made, where warriors sharpen their minds, where chaos is locked out and clarity walks in. But what do most men do? They wake up and react. They grab, rush, scroll, choke down coffee, dash into traffic. And they wonder why the day feels like a constant ambush. Stoicism rejects this madness. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That begins with mastering your time, specifically this hour. So what does it mean to claim it? It means declaring it sacred, non-negotiable, untouchable. You don't have to meditate on a mountain. You just have to be present. Try this. Sit in silence. Journal your thoughts. Breathe deep 10 times, nothing else. Stretch, read, think. Ask one question. What would a disciplined man do today? That's it. You don't need 50 steps. You need ownership. This is your launch pad, not a checklist, not a productivity hack, a spiritual fortress. And here's the twist. This 1 hour doesn't just affect your morning. It leaks into everything. The deal you negotiate at noon, the workout at 5 p.m., the argument you avoid at dinner. All of it flows from the tone set in that first hour. Because that hour, it's the only time in the entire day where the world hasn't sunk its claws into you yet, where the noise hasn't hijacked your compass, where you get to remember who the hell you are. But if you give it away, to the news, to the market, to other people's urgency, you're not starting your day, you're surrendering it. So make it a rule. Your first hour is for you, your mind, your goals, your command. Because here's the truth, no one's told you. The world doesn't need more speed. It needs more men who wake up on fire and don't put it out with distraction. Claim the first hour, or lose the whole damn day. Waking up early once doesn't mean a damn thing. Anyone can get lucky with motivation. Anyone can stumble into discipline for a day. But doing it every day? That's not luck. That's devotion. Let's be blunt. If you wake up early twice a week and sleep in the rest, you're not building a habit. You're flirting with the man you wish you were. Consistency isn't sexy. It's not loud. It's not Instagram-worthy. but it's sacred. Because each time you wake up at the time you said you would, you're keeping a promise to yourself. And let's be honest, most men break that promise before they even stand up. They set the alarm, full of fire at night, and by morning they're just soft breath and excuses. You think the alarm clock is your enemy? No. It's a mirror. And every time you hit snooze, you tell it, I don't mean what I say. That's not just poor sleep hygiene. That's character erosion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, remind yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. Not a child. Not a pet. Not someone who needs to be coaxed out of comfort. But a human being with agency, with responsibility, with purpose. So why is consistency so hard? Because comfort never asks for commitment. It seduces. It whispers, just this once. It tells you there's always tomorrow. But Stoicism doesn't wait for tomorrow. It says, this moment is your battlefield. This morning is your proof. And here's the deeper truth. Waking up at the same time each day is more than just sleep regulation. It's identity architecture. You are not what you say you are. You are what you do repeatedly, especially when it's hard. Especially when no one's watching. So build a time. Set it. Make it non-negotiable. Defend it like a fortress under siege. Will it suck some days? Yes. You'll feel like a zombie. Your bed will feel like heaven. Your mind will beg for mercy. But that's the point. Discipline isn't about ease. It's about endurance. You don't become resilient by choosing what feels good. You become resilient by choosing what builds who you are becoming. Every morning you wake up on time is a vote. A vote for the disciplined version of you. A vote for the leader, the creator, the father, the man who does what must be done, regardless of feeling. And those votes? They add up. Not overnight. Not with applause. But over weeks, months, years. Until one day, you don't have to try anymore. You are the man who rises. Because that's just who you've become. So stop waiting for motivation. Start casting your votes. Consistency isn't routine. It's reverence. It's self-respect in action. And if you can't keep your own word, why the hell should the world trust you? You will fall. Let's get that straight. You will miss alarms. You will stay in bed. You will screw up. And that's not the problem. The problem is what you do after. Most men don't fail once. They fail once, then declare war on themselves. They spiral, collapse, shame themselves into paralysis. Why? Because they thought discipline meant perfection. It doesn't. Discipline isn't about never falling. It's about rising faster each time you do. That's Stoicism in motion. Marcus Aurelius never said, be flawless. He said, when jarred, don't let it break you. Be quick to return to yourself. Stoic power doesn't lie in avoiding the fall. It lies in how quickly you reset. Let's be brutally honest. You will oversleep. You will break your streak. You will betray your standards. But don't confuse a moment of weakness with a life of failure. One lost battle does not end the war. Here's the hidden cancer. Self-hate disguised as accountability. You think berating yourself makes you stronger. It doesn't. It just makes your mind associate growth with punishment. That's a losing game. No one stays consistent with something that feels like self-torture. So what's the move? Fall forward. Missed your wake-up time? Get up anyway. Didn't journal this morning? Do it before bed. Slipped into old habits? Name it, learn, move. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's fuel. It allows you to try again without dragging yesterday's corpse behind you. The Stoics practiced this. Daily reflection. Brutal honesty without self-destruction. They didn't call themselves trash. They called themselves unfinished. And that changes everything. Because if you believe a misstep ruins everything, you'll fear every move. But if you believe you can recover, you'll keep going, longer, stronger, and smarter. Fall forward means learn faster, adjust deeper. Act again now, not next week. Write this down. I don't repeat failures. I recycle them into fuel. Because failure isn't a signal to quit. It's a feedback loop. A sign that something needs reinforcement, not rejection. Most men quit not because they failed, but because they were too proud to forgive themselves. And that pride, that's not strength. That's ego in disguise. Stoic humility says, I am human, I am imperfect, but I am responsible. So stop waiting to be perfect before you give yourself grace. Give it now, so you can build perfect through war, scars, and returns. Discipline without compassion is self-violence. Compassion without discipline is softness. You need both. Held in tension, forged in fire. So the next time you fall like a warrior, with fists clenched, eyes open, teeth gritted, and fall forward. You think making your bed is small. You think putting your phone across the room is trivial. You think brushing your teeth right after waking is just routine. You're wrong. Dead wrong. These are not chores. They're not habits. They are rituals. And rituals shape who you become. Every morning, you're building something. The only question is, what? You're not neutral. You're not static. You're either reinforcing discipline or decay. Tiny acts, repeated in silence, forge the sharpest edges of character. Let's break this down. You set your alarm and put it across the room. That's not convenience. That's a statement. I don't serve comfort. Comfort serves me. You make your bed. No one will see it. No one will thank you. And that's the point. Because when you bring order to a space no one judges, you're telling your soul, we do this because of who we are, not who's watching. You want to know why most men drift? Why they lack conviction? Why they feel like ghosts inside their own life? Because they've outsourced their identity to big moments. Promotions, praise, public applause. But real identity is hammered in private rituals, repeated with ruthless consistency. Seneca, founder of Stoicism, said, well, being is realized by small steps, but it is no small thing. That's truth, raw and eternal. Because these steps, they echo. You delay brushing your teeth by 20 minutes? Doesn't matter. Think again. You just practiced procrastination. And procrastination doesn't stay in the bathroom. It leaks into your calendar. Your discipline. Your decisions. Everything is connected. Everything is a vote. The way you start is the way you act, is the way you live. So here's the formula. Identify the rituals. Start small. Simple, but sacred. Alarm across the room. Feet on floor instantly. Make the bed. Breathe deep. Drink water. Say one intentional sentence out loud. I lead myself today. Repeat them without exception. Rituals don't care how you feel. They anchor you when emotions want to drift. And every time you honor the ritual, you take background from chaos. Protect them like they're sacred. Because they are. They're the last thing you control before the world punches in. The modern world wants you to think identity is found. No. Identity is forged. And the forge is hottest in the mundane. So you want to be disciplined? Show me how you fold your blanket. Show me how you brush your teeth. Show me what you do when no one gives a damn. Because that's who you are. Not the you on Instagram. Not the you at work. The you in silence. In repetition. In the boring, sacred trenches of the morning. Stop waiting for some life-altering routine. Start with one, a ritual you do every day, without fail, without apology. Then stack another, and another, until one morning you look in the mirror and realize the man staring back isn't hoping for change. He is change. Tiny rituals. Giant identity. You want to be disciplined? You want to rise early, stay focused, keep promises, break patterns? Then stop doing it alone. Because here's the dark truth. Most men don't fail in public. They fail in private. Quietly, repeatedly, with no witnesses, no pushback, no pressure, just soft lies whispered in solitude. It's okay. Just this once. You'll be better tomorrow. But no one hears those lies. No one calls them out. And so they multiply. Isolation is where discipline goes to die. Not in fire, not in combat, but in slow, silent decay. You think doing it alone makes you stronger. It doesn't. It just makes your downfall invisible until it's irreversible. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who could have claimed solitude as his right, said, "We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands." He understood what modern men forget. Accountability is not weakness, it's armor. When you have someone watching someone who knows your standard, you raise the bar or you face it. When you're alone, you lower the bar, then call it flexibility. And that bar keeps dropping, inch by inch, until you're crawling under it. Here's the truth. You're not too lazy. You're too unaccountable. Discipline is not a solo sport. It's forged in friction. And friction only happens when someone pushes back. So get a partner, a brother, a savage friend who won't let you explain away your excuses, not someone to coddle you, someone to confront you, someone who texts at 5:00 a.m. You up? And if not, they call. And if you don't answer, they show up. Metaphorically or literally doesn't matter. What matters is this. You're no longer invisible. But I'm self-motivated. Good, prove it with another warrior in the room. Not because you need them, but because you honor the bond. It's not about weakness. It's about strategic pressure. When you're about to quit, and you know someone will ask, "What happened today?" You push one more rep. You rise one more time. You keep the promise because it's no longer just yours. That's not dependence. That's honor. So how do you find this person? Simple. Look for someone who's sick of their own excuses. Someone who's also bleeding for progress. Someone who's tired of talking about change and is finally ready to live it. Then make a pact. Clear. Relentless. Check in daily. No fluff. No lies. What time did you wake up? Did you complete your 3 priorities? Did you do what you said you would? That's it. 3 questions. Every day. Because when you bring your struggle into the light, it loses its power. And when you lock arms with someone on the same path, you don't just double your strength, you divide your weakness. You want discipline to survive. Kill the silence. Kill the shadows. Find a brother. And make each other dangerous. Most people live like death is optional, like loss is rare, like everything they have will still be there tomorrow. And that illusion, it's what makes them soft, entitled, fragile. But you're not here to be soft. You're here to become unshakable. And to do that, you need to face a brutal truth. Everything you love will vanish. Everyone you know will die. Everything you own can be taken. And every plan you make is smoke. That's not pessimism. That's preparation. The Stoics had a name for this. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Negative visualization. Not to wallow in darkness, but to build armor. Seneca said it clearly. He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. You don't wait for the storm to respect you. You train before it arrives. So here's your task. Each morning, before the world touches you, die mentally. Visualize it. Brutally. Honestly. Clearly. What if today you lost your job? Your health? Your father? Your wife? Your mind? What if this was your last cup of coffee? Your last sunrise? Your last chance to act with courage? How would you move through this day? How would you speak? How would you carry yourself? How intentional would you be? You see, when you anticipate loss, you stop whining about the small stuff. You stop chasing comfort like a dog begging for scraps. You stop postponing courage. You wake up sharper, faster, grateful. Because death clarifies. It doesn't paralyze unless you run from it. And here's the paradox. The more you contemplate death, the more alive you become. Because nothing is more electrifying than realizing this moment might be the last. You don't waste time on gossip. You don't delay the hard conversation. You don't scroll your morning into oblivion. You act. You speak with weight. You move with finality. But won't this make me anxious? No. What makes you anxious is pretending nothing bad will ever happen. That's the real anxiety, being blindfolded and told to walk across a battlefield. Negative visualization removes the blindfold. It shows you the landmines. It makes you ready. And readiness? That's peace. So every morning, give yourself 5 minutes. Sit in silence. And die in your mind. Picture the losses. Feel them. Then breathe and return. Return with fire in your gut and stillness in your bones. Because now you know, you don't have time to waste. The day ahead is a gift, and you're not entitled to another. Remember, you can't choose when the world will break you, but you can choose to break the illusion before it breaks you. Mentally die before the world kills you. That way, when the loss comes, and it will, you meet it not as a victim, but as a man who's already stared it down. Most men collapse into sleep, phone in hand, mind scattered, soul unfinished. They don't end their day. They just run out of energy. But a warrior doesn't fade. He finishes. Because how you end the day is how you prime the next. And in the world of self-mastery, the final frame always matters. The Stoics knew this. Epictetus said, "Don't go to sleep without reviewing your day. What did I do well? What did I do poorly? What can I do better tomorrow?" That's not reflection. That's command. It's what separates the man who lives with intention from the man who floats through routine. So let me ask you, how are you ending your day? Is it with noise, distraction, collapse? Or is it with closure, clarity, control? Here's the truth. The last 10 minutes before sleep are sacred. That's where your subconscious drinks its final instructions. That's when your identity either strengthens or dissolves. So what do you give it? Chaos, regret, noise, or stillness, gratitude, direction? Here's your new ritual. Review. In your mind or on paper. Ask, what did I do that honored the man I want to become? Where did I slip? Where did I conquer? Be honest, be brutal, be brief. Forgive. Didn't hit your targets? Good. Own it. but don't carry it into tomorrow like a corpse. Say it. I fell short, but I rise again. Gratitude. Write down 3 things. Small, specific, and felt. Not fluff. Not performance. The laugh you shared. The moment of stillness. The fact you woke up at all. Why does this matter? Because gratitude is not weakness. It's awareness sharpened by loss. It's a Stoic act of war against entitlement. You want to sleep deeply? Close the day with meaning. Give your mind a signal. Mission acknowledged, day complete. We fought, we return. Here's the deeper layer. When you close with gratitude, you wake with purpose. You don't begin the next day in a fog. You begin with continuity, with momentum. Because this isn't about having perfect days. It's about stacking intentional ones, one after the other, until your life is no longer chaos, but ceremony. And when you do this, night after night, something shifts. The man who once scrolled himself to sleep now reflects like a general debriefing a battle. The man who once collapsed now closes with presence. And here's the most powerful truth of all. The man who ends the day in gratitude cannot wake up defeated. So tonight, as the world powers down, don't go dark with it. Light the final candle. Finish strong. Say thank you like a warrior who's survived another day in the arena. Then sleep like a man who's earned the right to rise again. Because the final frame matters. And it always will. If this shook something inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with the one brother who's drifting, the one man who's fading quietly. Wake him up. Subscribe if you want to be hit like this again. No fluff, no comfort. Just fire, forged in truth. Drop one commitment in the comments. One action you'll take starting tomorrow. And keep it. Because a public promise is a sacred threat to the part of you that always breaks them